So I wanted to come on and share the link to the article in my reel today in case anyone is interested in reading it. The full text is available online. But it's not a new article, but I really like this one because it ties in the thought that when you alter that deep stabilizing system of diaphragm, pelvic floor, abs, the little muscles in your back, when you change the way that this system works, which can happen because of pregnancy, it can happen because of poor postures that we fall into and hold on to for long periods of time. It can happen because of previous injury. But when you change the way that this deep stabilizing system works, you get different symptoms in different people. Sometimes you get incontinence. Sometimes you get a belly that protrudes out and still looks pregnant. Sometimes you get pain. And sometimes you get different combinations of these symptoms in different people. But the way that you resolve these symptoms, whichever combination manifests itself in any individual, is by resetting the system, by reconnecting your diaphragm to your pelvic floor, by understanding how rib cage position and pelvis position affect these things, by getting better coordination of your pelvic floor with your abs, of your diaphragm with your abs, etc. And by rebuilding everything from the bottom up, instead of chasing the specific symptom, when you rebuild the foundation, it affects all of the symptoms. So let me know what questions you have.
Here's a great question. What do I think about running during pregnancy? So I say ask not what exercises are on or off limits. However, guide your movement by things like pressure and what your body is telling you with its response to pressure. So, do you feel pelvic floor heaviness? Do you have feelings of falling out? Inability to maybe maintain your breath at all, and so you're breath holding, doming and coning at the midline, leaking any sort of urine at all. So those are the things that should guide your ability to move. Do keep in mind that the more weight that we carry, especially later in pregnancy, the more forces that are coming down on your body parts, especially your pelvic floor. So those are things to consider when thinking about your movement. Tips if you're working on any sort of form change is start with one thing, right? So sometimes that one thing is, what is my running form? What does that look like? What does it feel like? Am I a heel striker? Where does my foot land? What's happening in my chest? How do I breathe? Have I ever even thought about any of those things? And so then you can go back and you can see like, oh, I might fall into this category. And then you just start with changing one thing at a time, and slowly starting to see how those changes feel. When you do a 4-foot strike and you have less reach, it is more efficient and you will be faster with less use of energy, because you're in a perpetual falling forward phase. So it's like you're catching yourself instead of always reaching with that strike. If you run on a treadmill, put yourself on an incline because that will naturally help you come into a forward lean a little bit easier if it feels really foreign for you on flat. Okay, so incline can be really helpful to help you get that forward lean. And then when you're doing it, you start to understand what that feels like in your body. And then when you come back to a flatter grade, you try to see if you can incorporate that. And I will say it feels like you're running on your tiptoes. It feels like more of a sprinter's kind of posture, and your calves will be really sore, but it is interesting over time how you see those changes take place. Other things would be